There we go.
Hi, everyone. Are you somebody who has possibly been living a secret? You have been longing to come out more in any area of your life, maybe even wanting to come out of the closet with your sexuality or with some secret that you've been hiding, but you don't know how? Are you somebody don't know how? Maybe you have been looking for some support and some guidance. Well, if that's you, today's show is for you. I know you're going to find it very, very inspiring. Hi, everyone. My name's Jamie Smith. I'm a certified life coach, certified law of attraction facilitator. And you're watching episode 9 of my Spotlight series of interviews where I shine the spotlight on one individual who is making a difference in the LGBTQ community and the world. And that is the purpose of the Hangout with Jamie show. The purpose of my show is to uplift, inspire, empower, and provide you with life-changing tips and inspiring guests so that you can go out and create your best LGBT life. Say yes if you're in. I know I am. Today, my guest is a very inspiring individual. My guest today is Rick Clemons. And before I bring him on, I'm just going to read a little bit about him. Rick Clemons is a curiosity seeker, father of 2, and partner to a great guy who's making a mark as a certified professional life coach, riveting motivational speaker, make you think blogger, radio, and TV personality who went from married heterosexual hiding his truth to authentic, happy, fulfilled gay man living his truth. He's also the author of the forthcoming book, Frankly, Dear, I'm Gay, which we're going to talk to him a bit about in a second. And Rick is also the man behind the brands The Coming Out Coach and The Gay Man's Life Coach. And he's on a mission to wake people out of the numbness of being life contortionists. I like that. Bending, molding, and living to others' expectations so they can wake up and trust themselves to be themselves, designing and living their most authentic lives without apologies. His forthcoming book, Frankly, Dear, I'm Gay, is coming out in the new year. Rick Clemons, welcome back to the Hangout with Jamie show.
Hey, good to be here again. So excited to be having this conversation today.
Yeah, thank you so much. So for those of us who don't know you, I'd love to just hear a little bit about your backstory because you weren't always the coming out coach.
No.
Yeah. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about your backstory?
No, I don't want to tell you anything.
So. Okay. All right.
We'll just be here and we'll just do this. No, I'd love to because it is an interesting story. It's not unique. There's a lot of people out there in the world who have lived similar stories of being in the closet, being married in a heterosexual marriage, and then finally discovering, okay, I can't do this any longer. But before I got there, I actually had come out as a teen. And I was 19 years old, sophomore in college. And I realized, all these things I've been feeling were really, my gay self trying to claw its way out of the closet, so to speak. And I came out, but I wasn't quite ready to be out. I had some pressures from family, did some religious counseling, not ex-gay, but some religious counseling around it. And it didn't work because the pastor was really hot. So I just kind of went and sat with him and, it's just like, okay, here we are, but this isn't working, but I guess I'll make it work, so to speak. And I have to say, honestly, it was a tough time to kind of go hide my truth, but it was actually a blessing in disguise. It was right at the beginning of the HIV and AIDS epidemic when nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew what was happening. Mm-hmm. And I truly, truly give thanks to my higher power that I didn't actually make it out of the closet right then and there because I was a naive young man. I wasn't overly sexual, even in my heterosexual life. Mm-hmm. And I think if I had bolted out, I would have probably been really risky, very stupid, and doing some things that I probably wouldn't have been able to handle. So roll forward 19 years later, been married for 13 years by that stage. I had 2 beautiful daughters. Well, I still have them. They're just grown girls now. Mm-hmm. And I was miserable. I was hiding behind not only a closet, but I was hiding behind layers and layers of unhealthy body. I was very heavy. I was drinking, not to the alcoholic stage, but I loved my cocktails more than the average person. Yeah. And I was pretty much hiding in my work. And I was very blessed to be at a company where I got to work internationally all over the world in a software company, which kind of gave me the freedom to start to explore who I was. Now, I'm not proud of that life. I have to be very forthright and honest, because, this wasn't something I go, oh yeah, so that's what happened, and goody for me, pat myself on the back that I finally came out. I was very much ashamed of living the life I was living. I was never faithful in my marriage, which isn't something I'm proud of at all. But I also caveat that with, it was definitely a different time and space in our society. I mean, we're talking the late 80s, early 90s, coming right up to the year 2000. And I finally just crumbled. But I crumbled because of a guy that I met who actually made things really different for me. I was in London. I had gone out to my first gay bar by myself in London, figured, who's going to see me? I'm 5,000 miles from home, right? And this guy came in and we hit it off. And what I thought was going to be the typical wham bam, thank you, sir, ended up being a very beautiful night of a lot of talking and intimacy, not sex. And the next morning I woke up a complete mess because there was no sex. I fell in love and then I fell apart.
Right.
And because of that, I turned the corner. And then what's interesting is, as soon as I turned the corner on my sexual orientation and I came out to my wife and we went through the divorce and I became a very responsible human being in so many ways, I began to turn other corners. I turned corners professionally. I turned corners in my health. I became a cyclist. I got laid off. I took a year off from that, during that time to kind of get head and shoulders back on straight. And I started pursuing what I really wanted to. Went back into software industry, but I started being really creative. And I ended up being a branding and marketing guy for an online .com. That didn't satisfy me. And when they laid me off, I said, done, I'm going to go find my passion. And had I not been through all that and come out of my own closet, I don't know if I would have been able to continue to come out of the other closets of financial and professional and relationship closets. There were a lot of closet doors that started domino effect, knocking down to this day even. So yeah, that's the backstory.
I love
Long
that
backstory, but that gives you the whole picture.
I love it. And what I'm always curious about is like, what makes, because not everybody comes out of the closet and then just decides to be the coming out coach. What was there a shift? Was there a spiritual awakening, or were you always a seeker? Like, what was that for you that made you decide to like turn your pain, like as Oprah would say, turn your pain into wisdom? And now you're just helping so many people, so inspiring people.
It was the pain into wisdom. It was kind of interesting. When I got laid off at the second job, I went out on my own consulting, and I thought, okay, this is working. Started my own business, became the entrepreneur, which kind of was another open the door. I didn't realize underneath everything was, gosh, there was this person who really wanted to be his own boss, do his own destiny sort of guy. And ironically, the universe started to deliver some messages to me. And the messages were, you're supposed to be doing some even bigger work. And interestingly enough, in that realm, I was getting kind of dissatisfied being a marketing and branding consultant. And suddenly coaches started showing up in my practice to have me help market and brand and help them launch books and things such as this. And I had been introduced to coaching years ago and kind of had the perk of, oh, I'd love to do that. But I had just started my job when this executive coach came into our corporation to help us do some transition stuff. And I'm like, I can't go off and do this. I just got this really great VP job. I'm going to stick to rare. And so the universe started delivering some coaches into my life. Then it started surrounding me with some other gay men, quote, gay men, who were still trying to find their way out of the closet from their marriages. And I started like sharing my experience, giving them some how-tos and what ifs and so on, some different pieces of advice. But I realized I'm doing a lot of advice giving, but I'm not helping them find their own answers. And then I started exploring, do I want to be a therapist? Because I started feeling that. I'm like, I really want to go help people.
Yeah.
And I looked at therapy versus coaching, and I kept doing the ping pong game for quite a few months. And then one day I just said, no, coaching is what I want to do. I found a couple of different schools, kind of explored both of them. And when I made the decision which one I was going to, walked in that first weekend of training, and they said, so what kind of coaching do you want to do? And I didn't even say what kind. I said, I'm the coming out coach, and I'm here to help people come out of the closet who've been married, have children, and find their truth and be fully who they are. Boom, done.
Wow. Wow.
And it was really a divine moment because I hadn't had that planned. I mean, it was just in the moment. I like declared it. And it helped catapult me to where I'm at, helped me start to do work with gay men, and now helping me work with people who are coming out of lots of different kind of closets.
That's right. That's right. We were just talking before how, like, I've come out of many closets. I came out of the spiritual closet just not too long ago. I had to tell my friends that I believe in angels. That was like coming out of the spiritual closet.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? So,
yeah. And I think that's the thing that I find so fulfilling now where I'm at in my career.
Yeah.
Is I said about a year and a half ago, I really want to go to the wider audience. I want to evergreen my conversations. I want to be a beacon in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of the things, and as a law of attraction person, you'll get this, when you ask for what you really desire and you put the intention behind it and you show up to do it,
Mm-hmm.
things start to happen. And I'm really blessed right now because I am starting to go and talk on some bigger stages with a different message, which is all about being confident and owning your uniqueness in the world, which is about being who you are. I mean, when we can own our uniqueness, truly own it, not just, oh, this is what I like. No, own it. This is what makes you you. Man, when you have that kind of confidence, you get to go live in your passion and your purpose.
Absolutely. And you just like, I mean, when I was 18, I came out to my best friend. And ever since then, I just felt like I could just be myself around her and never forgot that feeling ever. And now people to this day, they say, you know, Jamie, I just love being around you. I feel like I can be myself around you. So like what you're doing too, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people and I know in the work you do, it's like you come across hundreds of people that you just go, yeah, they're just in pain. They're not living who they're meant to be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I do it 100% of the time because no, there's times where I go, okay, no wonder I'm feeling like crap because I'm not being true to myself. And some people would go, oh, so you're one of those selfish ones. No. Being true to yourself is being the person that you were brought onto this planet to have the human experience being. To me, that's what it's all about.
And you don't have to do it overnight. I was just, I had a fabulous interview, and a friend of mine has a show, and he interviewed me, and he told me about this 10% advantage thing. So if you're afraid to do something, you don't have to like, you know, come out to the whole world overnight. Right. If you're too scared, you can do it in increments, 10% increments. Like maybe start by writing it down in a journal, like I'm gay. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who's still, because I know some people who are still really afraid to come out.
You know, I think the best advice I can give somebody is, it's your journey. I can be the coming out coach. You can have your experience of coming out. You can be surrounded by hundreds of people who've come out, but it's your journey. And own that it's your journey. Yes, you can get all the advice and stuff that's really helpful, but the blueprint is your blueprint. So take it your way, do it your way, step into it in your beautiful way, because that's you being you. You know, there's this interesting statistic about some DNA studies that say that, you know, you and I, you know, and if you and I were standing next to each other, people go, okay, Rick is really smoking something because, no, you guys don't look anything alike, but you and I and all of us on the planet are 99.9% alike in our DNA. Kind of varies, you know, some say 99.9, some say 99%. But when the scientists really study this, it's around those ratios. But it's that 1% that makes each of us unique. And when you can own your uniqueness, even in your coming out journey, and know that it's your uniqueness in the journey, that's what's going to make you whole. Yes, you're going to find ways to identify with others in the community, but make sure you do it your way too.
Wow.
Otherwise, you go from one jail cell of pretending to be somebody you think you need to be for all these people around you. And then you go out of that jail cell and go take the key and open up another jail cell into, and I love my gay community, so this isn't bashing the community, but you step into the gay community. And if you go, okay, I have to be like this and like this and like this and like this. Well, guess what? Welcome to your next jail cell.
Oh, wow. I've never heard it that way. Really, that's really powerful, because I've had in the past a tendency to kind of just tell people who are struggling to come out, well, we'll just come out, and like, well, it's easy for me to say. You know, I came out.
Well, it is easy for all of us to say,
right? Yeah,
because we're on the other side, so to speak.
Yeah.
But man, there's people I see coming out right now that I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't have to come out in this day and age, you know, because there's different stations that happen all around us. I mean, the youth today, a lot of people say, oh, they've got it so easy. Well, yeah, they kind of do, but they have it easy because they feel like they can just go do this. But because that freedom is so there, sometimes they don't realize, well, that may seem like freedom here, but you go to another state or you go into another country, it's not quite like that. So it's kind of like they feel this open freedom to go be this. And I'm not saying don't, but sometimes it's almost like throwing caution to the wind, so to speak. So I think there's just lots of different ways that we come out and we have to get used to the area we're in. And I remember when my husband and I met, he had been out since he was like 21, 22. And, you know, here I am, 38, 39 years old, just out. And I'm not like crazy out, so to speak. I mean, I'm just happy to be free.
Yeah.
And I remember the first couple of times we were in stores or something, and I said, honey, or hey, babe. And he kind of tensed. And I'm like, what's up with this? He goes, you didn't go through the years of stuff that I've gone through. And so you kind of got to put it all in perspective.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Still a lot of work to be done for sure.
A lot of work to be done. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you remind me, like, for me, like I just, you know, the reason I decided to go on this path with my life coaching is because I guess I needed to do it for me as well, because I mean, I'm really out there. I just, like, you cannot hide it. I'm so gay, you can see me from space. I'm one of those. Like, you know, like there's just no point. Like, so for me, it was like, I have this great group here, a meetup group called Happy, Healthy, and Gay. And I'm just so gay at my group. And I'm like, but there's a freedom in that. And I think that for me, what it's done, and I see that it's like, no, I want everyone to, you know, give you permission to be yourself, whatever that means for you. And then from there, you know, like you're branching out now as well.
Right. Absolutely. Well, you know, there's a lot of groups I belong to. I mean, professional groups. And one of the things I've always said is I'm just going to be me.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to wave the flag, but I can tell you this, there's a lot of my quote heterosexual groups that, yeah, when I finally said, okay, I'm here, it's like, okay, bitches, I'm here. And I do it in such a fun way that there's, you know, they just kind of embrace, but you have to kind of take the temperature.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying hide, you know, but I have a good girlfriend that I do a lot of speaking with on different panels. And she gets beat up a lot because she's like, I'm not really out at work. And she gets beat up by her own community. And to that I say, let her be her own unique self. She's got very valid reasons why she's not.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes what may work in some of our beautiful gay bubbles isn't going to work out there in the middle of nowhere. Now, she happens to be in, you know, Southern California, but she happens to work for a very well-known, high profile, big company.
Right.
That kind of is conservative. So she's made some choices, and I honor that she's doing what's best for her. And I think that's, you know, you ask for the advice, do what's best for you.
I love that. So you also have a coming out podcast. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So this is an interesting little podcast that I kind of inherited the show from somebody that had the contract, and then it was a completely different show. And they're like, why don't you take over my space? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, what would I do? And I just said, you know what, I'm going to do a coming out show, and I call it the Coming Out Lounge. And it's really fun. We have a lot of fun with it. And we do some serious stuff too, but now it's become kind of that, let's share stories and let's share ideas. And it's not just all gay now. I mean, I have a lot of heterosexuals. In fact, the last 3 podcasts I've recorded have been with heterosexual couples or people sharing their journeys of coming out of something really big in their life, because it's all parallel, Jamie. You know that.
Exactly.
You know, the journey is the journey. But we overlay a lot of different experiences into the Coming Out Lounge, and it airs every Wednesday at 3:30 in the morning. So if you're really desperate to go download them, they're available at 3:30 in the morning. I think they're Eastern time. They actually are available, but it's really fun. And it's a good resource for people who, I always say it's a nice quiet space to go figure it out if you're not quite ready to talk about it. And I love that I'm able to do that, and I love doing it. Yeah, we were just talking about that, how much that's a passion of mine.
Yeah.
because you just never know the lives you're impacting when you do this kind of work that we're doing even right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was listening to your show with Michelle Evans. Is that her name?
Yes.
And I was just listening to that, and I just felt like I felt my shoulders relax, and I felt like God, like just even sometimes I like to sometimes block being myself completely, it was just so healing to listen to your show. So yeah, keep it up. You're doing great.
Awesome.
Oh, well, my God, I will say it's going to be 10 minutes. I think we're already at like 17 minutes. But so if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, the best way is at www.rickclemons.com. That's a great place to find everything. And then if you're interested in the book, it's Frankly, My Dear, I'm Gay. It's coming out in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
So there's that. You just go to franklyMyDearI'mGay.com and you'll be able to get on the book list, find out when we're releasing, when the book tour is going on. Totally excited about that. I haven't seen a book out there, and this isn't because I'm tooting my own horn or anything, but literally, I haven't seen a book quite like this where it's a autobiography, but it has actually how-tos and coaching stuff intermingled. So one chapter will be my story, getting through a certain segment of the coming out process, and then the next chapter I take and I dissect that down and distill it down to how you might do this in your own life. So really, really excited, and can't wait for that to be released to go, again, be of service and help people in any way that I can.
I'd love for you to come back when the book comes out, and I want to.
Absolutely, we can do that. Yay. And maybe if I come back, what we'll do is we'll do a special, maybe we'll do a special landing page where the first 10 people who go sign up can get the book for free. That could be something we could do.
Wow.
Well.
Really? That would be amazing.
Yeah. We could probably do that without a problem. So
wow.
Awesome. Well, I love what you're doing too, Jamie. I love this venue. You've given this to people because it is about really aligning with yourself, being authentic, and aligning that you're here to serve a purpose in the world.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I see, when we see people like you who are making a difference in the world, I think deep down, all of us want to make a difference. And I think that, hopefully that's inspiring. So thank you everybody for watching the show. If you want to see more interviews, you can just simply go to hangoutwithjamie.com. I have a whole bunch of interviews there already. And that also, when you sign up, you will receive a notification for weekly show topics. So stay in touch, everybody. Thanks again, Rick Clemons. And
thank you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now, everyone.